So we had a perfect day of some rain, and we took advantage of it and tested out the rescue jacket out over the lake. And things were going pretty good, except there were two patrol cars right behind me. And that made the flight a little bit awkward. But we went out there and did our thing. And the Mavic 3 rescue jacket is, out of all the rescue jackets, the combination between the drone and the rescue jacket is insane. It's blowing my mind because the battery life is just incredible, but also the power of the M3 is amazing. So we know that the M3 can lift 25 ounces pretty easily, and we're looking at 5 ounces on the rescue jacket. And with that, you're going to be able to do some amazing things. So this was after coming back from a little bit of a long distance flight, kept low, and then just landing it right in the water. You'll notice when the drone lands, the motors turn off almost instantly, and then you'll see the red lights, which means the motors are not on. And then when I do turn the motors back on, you'll see the green lights flashing. So now I'm ready to take off at a moment's notice, which is good when you're on the waves, because if you see a wave starting to curl over you, you need to pop up. You have to pop up and get out of the way of the wave. So that was our first attempt. We did about 12 landings. I decided to take it up about 350 feet, and you'll get an idea what that looks like soon enough. And so this is the view from the drone, and there's plenty of room for the gimbal and the camera, even with its very low center of gravity, which is designed into all the rescue jackets, because I'd rather have a little water splash on the drone than it to flip over. And that's that low center of gravity that we design that helps that rescue jacket stabilize even on the waves. So there was a little bit of zoom going on there, and just trying to see what the drops would look like zoomed in. Yeah, and the two patrol cars, they're not moving. They're like about 50 feet behind me, and they're catty-cornered. Yeah, they're like sideways to each other. So this is what it looks like when I get up in the air, and it looks amazing. Rescue jacket's not in the way. Get a pretty nice field of view, and then I just came straight down in sport mode and tried to land as fast as I could on the water. It's still raining the entire time. We're never going to run out of battery. You'll see a few shots of me in the car, and at the end you'll see the patrol cars. I'm sure they ran my plates. So that's another perspective of the M3 landing in the water. I can't wait to see some waves coming at that camera. It's going to be awesome. Because on the Air 2 and the Air 2S, it's amazing. It looks like the water is going to come right down on the drone, but it doesn't. And I've got the hatch open on the car, but it's raining. So we're going out again, skimming the water, just trying to see if it wants to nose down at all, and it didn't. I was actually able to skim the water for quite a while. You'll see that in another clip. I didn't see any altitude change from the water. Now here I'm already landed in the water. You can see the red lights. That's the telltale sign right there. The motors are off. Now you'll see the green lights start to flash, motors are on. Now we're going back out. and this is me skimming the water. You cannot skim any lower than this without the drone wanting to land, which is really the same on the Mavic 2 and the Air 2. They're all pretty much the same. But the M3 has so much power that you can kind of power through almost anything. Now, we took the rescue jacket up in 35-mile-an-hour winds and let it blow away a little bit and put it in sport mode, and it came right back. It's really nice. And that's another video. But here you can just see I'm looping around a little bit, seeing if the loop would cause me to lose altitude, but it didn't. I've got a lot more footage, but I'm just trying to edit a lot of this out just to give everyone an idea of what it's like. Yeah, it would have been a blast had those patrol cars not been there. I probably would have done things a little bit differently, but I had to take advantage of the fact that it was raining, and it just made for a nice video. And more than the video, for me to test out the rescue jacket and the wetsuit to see if there might be any issues at all. So here I'm just landing again. At this point, I'm convinced I could land 100 times on the water. You know, we're going to need some much stronger waves in order to find out the limits of the rescue jacket, which of course I will find out. And it's interesting because when it's resting on the water, you get a real different look at everything. And if any of the birds or ducks were there, it would have been really nice. So that's just another landing, another view from the drone. You can see it's raining, but I wouldn't say it's a hard rain. It's just a constant rain. It would have been nice to have some hardcore rain, and I will get that. I will get that eventually. So you're just watching me skim the water, which is what you saw before, but from a different point of view. And then we got the raindrops. So a lot of things were tested out, a lot of things, and there were no faults, no errors, no motor errors. There was absolutely nothing. And there's the patrol car. You can see him right through the window right there. And then the other one's right next to him. So they're keeping an eye on me, and I'm feeling it. So here's one more shot at landing on the water. You see the ripples from the props. And after I land, I come back, I check out the drone, make sure everything looks good. Just doing a bunch of little safety checks, making sure we're all good. Checking out the lights, the color of the lights, and back out. Honestly, I don't know how many times I landed on the water, but it was quite a few. So now we're back on water, and with every landing you get more confident, you go down with more speed, but eventually it doesn't let you go. You can't really land hard on the water. I tried. I did try. I'd have to cover the sensors in order for that to happen, to have that control. And then I will make a video on how different that is, because you got to be a much better pilot at that point. I have a video of the Mavic 2 with the sensors covered, and you can tell that thing hits the water with ferocity. So here's just another landing, one after the next after the next. And then we'll go back to taking a look at it from the outside to see what that looks like. I was hoping maybe the weather might get worse So I did stay out there a while. So here we are in the water again, different viewpoint. You can see the red lights, motors are off. Green lights, motors are on. Home point is always recorded on the water. So we had about 12, 15 different home point recordings. It's essential that you remember when you land on the water, no matter where it is, the home point is going to be recorded. And I think I'm going to land one more time at some point. So if the wave hits the M3, if it hits the back, the motors will go into the water and they will come back up. They will survive. We've tested that out already. The front end, you don't want to go into the water. You do not. And that's why most of the focus on the rescue jacket is at the front end. We don't want it to be too high. More important that your drone were to get splashed or a wave to go over the top of it than it would be to flip over, because you're in bad news, bad shape. You could still recover your drone, but it's not going to be the same drone. So here's one more attempt on the water. You can see that was a little quicker. The one thing you have to do is you actually have to pull the stick down to the bottom. And it takes about 3 to 4 seconds to trigger that landing. Otherwise, you're just going to hover there for quite a while. I didn't see any altitude change from the water. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. And believe me, I flew a long time. And the patrol cars never left. They were still there when I left. So here's just another quick checkup, bringing it in, making sure everything's good. The straps are very strong. They're not going anywhere. Once you strap that drone in, you can put it through a 45-mile-an-hour wind and it's not going to do anything to the rescue jacket. As far as it being like a wind sock, the rescue jacket's not like that. It's too streamlined and there's not a lot of drag. It's because of the balance of the M3. It has the best balance of all the drones. So that makes a real big difference. Even when you're flying in sport mode, it's different. So now we're back in the water. Watch the lights. You can see the motors are already back on. And I'm back up. So, like I said, I could probably do 100 landings in a row in the water. It's not going to phase the M3. And with the wetsuit, even if it gets splashed or it's raining, it's not going to make a difference. Everything on that drone is covered to its most absolute point without taking all the air out of it. So you'll see that in a different clip. But yeah, just phenomenal. And the visual line of sight with the rescue jacket, it's close to 3,000 feet. It's pretty nice. Doesn't matter if you've got neon blue or neon red or lunar purple or black or the neon green. They're all going to give you the same visual line of sight. And of course I tested forward and backward. Flights are always tested both ways. And yes, the patrol guys definitely had me flying cautiously. So I'll probably end up doing a lot more tests, hopefully without the with those guys. Yeah, so here I just forward back and boom, land. Just too easy. Too easy. And here I zoom in. There's 4. 4 times zoom, there's 7. There's 14. I like 14. It's okay. And then 28. Even with the raindrops, it didn't do me much. I would have liked to have maybe played with the focus a little bit here. Probably could have got a better shot. But again, that's for another day also. So the Mavic 3 and the Rescue Jacket is incredible because the power of the M3 doesn't influence the Rescue Jacket at all. And after flying it in 35-mile-an-hour winds and being able to fly it through in sport mode, absolutely incredible. These two guys, on the other hand, that's the reason why I had to fly like a pansy bird, because that was a little bit awkward.